everything into a system of control, because he is not omniscient or omnipresent, so he has to rely on his own councils and his own hierarchies and his own way of doing things. Some people wouldn't think that Satan would have a vast computer network, but he does. I mean, this is how he operates. He's not the Lord. He has to operate in many of the same ways we as humans operate.
That's right. He can only be in one place at one time himself, right?
Right, that's exactly right. He can't be everywhere at once. And the Satanists will even tell you that during rituals that they have to have them at a precise exact moment. I guess this is for the covens and the groups, that he'll show up personally at these rituals that they do.
Sherry?
Right.
Yeah.
You have John on the phone when you're ready.
Okay, let me finish this for a second. And what they'll do is he'll show up for a split second. They have to have everything timed all the way around the world so that he can go from one coven to the next and pop up at the appointed time. And that's how, because he can't be everywhere at once. So he'll pop up at one ritual, and then he'll pop up at another one, and it goes, all the way around the world is what he'll do to pop up personally at some of these rituals.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, who's on the line, Steve?
You have John from Indiana queued.
Okay, I can hardly hear you.
Oh, well, good evening.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Oh, excellent. We rushed back to hear your show tonight.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. I did too. I was away during the week.
Hello, John.
Well, hello. How are you this evening?
I'm okay. Good to hear from you.
I visited your site from the link on Sherry's, and it was excellent. It had information that was very
I can
clear.
hardly hear him, Steve.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, yeah, just yell, because it's really clear for some reason.
I visited your site from the link on it from Sherry's.
Right.
And it was excellent. It had a lot of good, solid, clear information.
You talking about Harry's site?
Yes.
Yeah, SatansRapture.com.
Yes, I go to yours every day.
Somebody sent me an email today, and they said, which one do you update the most? Because I want to be at the one you update the most.
Well, I go to your blogger.
That's what I said. I said, go to my blogger.
But I had a question for both you and Pastor Harry, and it's about the last week's events. Of course, what do you think about what's happening in Ukraine? And two, about the tremendous increase and boldness of the UFO sightings nationwide, where people are seeing them during the daytime for extended periods of time and over major urban areas.
I can answer the second one, not the first one. Can you get the first one here?
I'll take the first question. Well, the people in Ukraine are very upset because they believed as a whole they voted for a more democratic candidate, and it seems like no other way to say it that Putin's puppet won. Because the person that won seems to be in a lockstep with Putin in his new police state, and the people are very upset over there.
Another fixed election, imagine that. Unheard of.
John, I think that they said the people are going to stay outside in the cold, and they're just going to keep protesting until they have another election. And the European Union is backing these elections, and I think Putin's going to really come against this.
Yeah, I've heard that they may partition the country, that the will of the people is very strong and unified in one part of the country, and it's unified in another way in another part of the country, that the situation could get very serious.
Oh, I believe it will, and Putin's trying to take very tight control of that country. Sherry, do you think that what's happening in the Ukraine has an effect on these sightings that we're seeing?
Well, the sightings are a little bit different. I mean, everything plays together eventually. I mean, what you're seeing in Ukraine is the same thing that's, could have been happening here in America with our elections. They're fixed. But the provinces of Russia broke off because they wanted to be away from communism. And that's kind of like a model that some of these states in the U.S., I know Montana, some states are talking about succession. And that's the same thing we could be facing, just to get away from the main Satanists, I guess you could call it.
Well, do you think that there is a possibility of some type of revolution happening in the Ukraine? But I think Putin is definitely trying to consolidate a police state.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I haven't been keeping up on the news, so that's why I went ahead and gave you a question, because I don't keep up on all the news. But the UFO question, definitely I can answer. What they have come out to say, and this is from the Zeta Freak site and, the other sites that I hear about. I don't necessarily go to them all the time. And it goes along with what the Bible says as well, is that you know, the veil is being lifted. And as we get closer to the end times, we're going to see more of these signs in the sky, more of these UFOs and aliens coming out, because when they invade the USA, it's not going to be a total shock and surprise to a lot of people. They're conditioning us now that there is life out there that we don't know about, but we do know about it. You know, we know who they are.
So you're saying, Sherry, that the more sightings we're seeing, we're being conditioned more and more to accept them when they would come.
Yes, because it's all up to them. I mean, it's not something the government can control. They can't turn on and off these UFOs and make them disappear. They have no control over them except for their own fleets. And a lot of it, some of it, you know, what's going on aren't government-owned fleets. Because the government has its own fleet. They store it underground at St. Alamos in New Mexico. And they have different hangars throughout the United States and the country where they store UFOs, their own UFOs. But, you know, these aliens are making their presence more known. You know, they're getting tired of the government totally hiding them. They want to come out more and more and be visible. And I don't know if you caught the line. I saw X-Men 2 last year sometime, took my son to see that. And the very last line of the movie, one of them, was closest to one of the last lines, was we've been playing by your rules long enough. Isn't it time you started playing by ours? Right. I thought that was so prophetic. I mean, that just hit every chord in me, because they're going to come out.
And they will exert their will upon us.
Yes, I mean, when they come, and the Lord has showed me this over and over and over again, it's going to be a hostile invasion. I mean, they're not coming as ETs, and you're not going to be able to lead them around with a bunch of Reese's Pieces. You know, it's going to be you're not going to want to take one home to your kids. It's going to be a hostile invasion.
And they're a little bit taller than E.T.
Yeah, I think E.T. was taller than these little grays. But, you know, there's the little grays, there's the tall grays. I think he was supposed to be more like an in-between gray. I don't know.
Grays grow up, right?
Yeah.
So they get mean, too.
So, well, they're all, you know, the whole E.T. movie was a blunder. They thought that they were nice, and that's why they came out with that movie that tell Americans or the people that they were nice. And then when they saw over time that what liars they were and how hostile they really were and what their real intent was.
Well, didn't E.T. come right out about the time when the UFO abductions really started to happen?
Well, I think E.T. came out in, what, the 70s?
82.
82? So that's back when, what, a lot of cattle mutilations were going on?
Yeah, about a little bit afterward.
Because the human abductions, they still keep very quiet.
You know, I saw the movie E.T. was on last week again, and I watched it. You know, E.T. really does everything that we read Jesus did in the Gospel. If you really look at it, he becomes one with Elliot. He's able to bring plants to life. He's able to levitate objects. He exerts a lot of qualities that we read up in the Bible and think of that Jesus did.
Well, these aliens, one of the biggest lies that they're going to push in the last days is that they're our creators and that they're the ascended masters and that they're the ones who created us and that they're all God.
True.
They're the Elohim. And so that's what they're going to claim to be.
That's exactly right. Our creators, and they come back.
Yeah, they're coming back. And, of course, we know it's all lies, but it's going to be part of the end-time deceptions.
Right, to set up a one-world government. John, are you still there?
Oh, I certainly am.
Sherry, is John still with us?
Yes, I am. Right here.
Know, back to what you said before, real quickly. Did the people in the Ukraine see within us all? There's a strong drive for freedom, and as people want to be free, the world's coming to a one-world government in a totalitarian rule with alien beings in control, and that's sort of like our freedom is in opposition to what's coming. Well, and I think that this revolt in Ukraine that will be put down.
Well, yeah. Well, then they're not going to be. They'll kill every one of them before they let them take over their own agenda. They'll start seeing mass persecutions or some kind of a war being called over there. They'll kill them off. Not to let them have their way.
That's true, and the freedom that we enjoy is almost coming to be a memory.
Yeah, or the candidate that they allow them to choose will be one of their own puppets. Are you still there, John?
Yes, I am. And the people of Ukraine are very upset about their situation.
He must have got cut off.
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
You'll call back in.
Okay.
He wasn't abducted.
No, I'm right here.
No. No, but anyway, you know, I haven't been paying much attention to the Ukraine thing. Good thing you have.
Well, it's just something, sure, that happened overnight.
Yeah.
John, you still there?
Yeah.
John, you still there? I think John hung up, Sherry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost John.